Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing today? Welcome to this week's coaching webinar. I have both myself and Stan on the line with us as well. And Stan's actually going to teach you guys today. So
Yeehaw.
you're in it. You're in it for a big, a big treat. Yeah, and hey, was any of you guys not on my Happy Hour TV this morning? Any of you not on there? Can you let me know if you were not on there and tell me why? Or I guess for those of you who were on there, could you give me some feedback on what you thought, how you liked it, and how, I mean, I was just rambling on this morning, I had a different plan of how to go about doing this show, and then when I got on there, and there was not much people to leave their comments and their questions. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll just have to talk about something to keep the show going. My plan was just to come on and share with you guys the Jim Rohn secret to success, and then talk about it a little bit. And I was expecting more people to participate and leave comments, so that way we can actually carry on the show. It's supposed to be like a radio show, where there's interaction with the audience, and and the host or the DJ is pretty much there to give our opinions and say stuff to keep the show going. But it wasn't meant to be a teaching. It wasn't meant to be a completely teaching-based show where I'm the only one doing the talking and teach stuff. So hopefully it'll go better tomorrow. And now that you guys understood what my goals are, hopefully tomorrow morning when you do watch it, that you're actually going to participate and say something. Don't just listen in passively. Okay.
What time does this happen every day, Tim?
At 8 a.m. every single morning. At 8 a.m. Central every single morning, 8 to 9 a.m.
Is there a way that we can find that link?
If you just go on blog.dodeals.com, you should be able to see it, or you can go to dodeals.com/HHTV. That's Happy Hour TV. It will also take you there as well. So but when you go on to blog.com, there's a link on top that says Happy Hour TV that you can click on. That will that will take you to the appropriate blog there, I guess. And okay. All right. Well, I guess let me see here. I guess to kick off this webinar, I want to share with you something real quick, and it's something I shared this morning, but I think it's pretty powerful. So I want to share it with you again. And this is a story that Jim Rohn shared. He basically learned about personal development and changed his philosophy when he was 25, and by the time he was 31, he became a millionaire. And people ask him, well, how were you able to become a millionaire, so quickly when most of the people did not achieve that? And what he said is this, okay? He said, during that 6-year period of time, the things that he found to be easy to do, the other people found it to be easy not to do. And for example, he found it easy to set goals that could change his life, and other people found it easy not to set goals. And he found it easy to read books, that could affect his thinking and his ideas, and other people found it easy not to. And he found it easy to attend classes and seminars, and I guess in our case it's webinars. They didn't have webinars back in those days, but so he found it easy to attend classes and seminars and get around other successful people, and other people say that attending classes and seminars probably really wouldn't matter. And so the point that I'm trying to say here is that is that a lot of what a lot of the difference between myself or Stan or the normal people on the street, is that is that we making a point to take action on things. We're making a point to actually do things, and because because we're used to taking action, because we're used to because we're used to implement things, those taking action become easier and easier for us to do. Okay, while most people says, well, it's too hard. I don't want to take action. Oh, it's too complicated. Oh, it hurts my brain. Therefore, I'm gonna choose not to do it. It probably wouldn't matter. And then, a few years pass by, and they wonder. And this happens to me too all the time. I meet my friends from middle school and high school, and even from college, and we talk about what they are doing now, where they're at now versus what I'm doing now, where I'm at now, and it's a drastic difference. And we talked about, well, what is it that you do? And I'll talk about one specific case. The guy, when you go to his house, then he has a full collection of Transformers. It's crazy the amount of money he spends on Transformers. He has the Xbox, the Wii game, the GameCube. Every game console exists out there. He has it all. Okay, and so when you see the difference in how we went about our lives, beyond high school, how we went about our lives, and it's pretty clear, why some people, go much further in life than others, because we take priority on different things, and we find different things to be to be easier to do, and different things to be easier not to do. I find it easier to improve myself and educate myself, and he finds it easier not to do that. He finds it easier to just play games all the time. so he's like still a kid. It's like we never grew up. And so I just wanted to share with you that, and let you know that the stuff that we're teaching you today, the stuff that we've been teaching you, none of these things are going to do any good for you until you make it a priority to implement them, to take action on them, and after a while you take action on them, they become easy things to do. Like, it's easy for me to call sellers now. I can close my eyes and call them. I don't even need to think about it. And it's because I've been through there, and I've already gotten a lot of practice doing that, and so. So you too will be able to get there. You just need to take the first step and keep on taking those steps. And just from sheer repetition of doing it over and over, you're gonna get good at it, and and it become very easy to do. So just wanted to share that with you. Stan, are you ready, sir?
Oh, yeah, I'm always ready.
Cool. So what you're going to teach us today?
Well, guys, let's review just a little bit. And yeah, I bet what you're all sitting there going is, man, they've talked about this 8K grant program like for 3 weeks in a row. And you're right. The reason we're doing that is the government's giving away free money. And if we don't put our hand out, it's going to be hard for us to get that. What did our attorney say the other day, Tim? You use the law, not abuse the law. Isn't that what he said?
Yeah, he said something like that.
And so the law is going to allow all of us to make this kind of money, and we're going to show you how to do that. So let's just review just a little bit. Remember that in Houston, what we're looking for and what would be a good idea for you to look for in your own market is a bread and butter house. These houses in Houston are 85 to 120,000. They would have a payment of about $1,000 a month. We like the suburban areas north of town because they're just good areas to be, okay? So that's what we're looking for in the areas that we're looking for in the Houston area. Now, how do we find these sellers? If you guys remember from last week, we call the landlords and investors off of Do Deals. We do driving for dollars, where we just drive areas and look for sale by owners or for rent by owners. And we do a lot of houses doing it this way. Let's see, Tim, I drove yesterday morning for about 45 minutes and found about 30 houses.
Wow.
So, yeah, so we challenged our members to do that again today. We went to the office today, and that's what they did right after lunch. They all went driving for dollars. So they had people to call tonight.
Cool.
Guys, you can look online at Craigslist, Backpage. Militarybyowner.com is a new site we found. That's if you're next to some kind of a military base, that's a great resource for you. And also through bandit signs, any kind of referrals, and through the MLS. So that's how we're finding these. And as Tim said, what we did, guys, is we challenged our people 2 weeks ago to kind of lay out the month of December for themselves. So we asked the apprentice students to say, okay, if your December could be perfect business-wise, what would it be? And we have all these great mind maps that got faxed to us and emailed to us, and some of them were in PowerPoints and all kind of cool things. But the bottom line is you have to start with something. And I want you guys to grab your pencil and paper, and I want you to write it down right now. You're going to write it in the question box to me. What's the very first thing you're going to do? Okay, write it to me now, then write it down on a piece of paper. Then I want you to put that on your mirror, and I want you to see that every day until you get finished. So go ahead and do that now, please. I'll wait on you. You know, Tim, what we did yesterday is with the apprentice group is we asked that same question. We asked them to Skype that, and it was amazing. The answers were pretty simple, like, I'm just going to make phone calls today, because we just can't seem to get started sometimes, you know?
Right.
I'm not seeing any questions coming in here.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people were on the call last Tuesday, and also on the call on last Thursday too. You know, so.
Yeah, so we're starting to have those come in now. Good for you. You know, what I want you to do is really take this to heart. The hardest part of getting started is getting started. And once you get started, it gets to be real simple.
Right.
And, you know, it's like having kids. The hardest part was having the kids. And then after we had them, they were fun, you know? The same thing that you have going on, Tim. It's just a good time. So now let's decide now. We're going to make some calls to motivated sellers. Now let's say that we've got a flex option. We have it returned to us. Now what comes next? That's where we're going next. So from finding sellers, now we need to be finding buyers. Now how do we find buyers? Okay, there's, of course, online marketing and offline marketing. Online is very much the same as finding your sellers, only we're doing it backwards. So we're going to be working with ads on dodeals.com, on Craigslist, Postlets, Backpage. You can create a web page. You can do all those kind of fun things. And for our Craigslist ads that we're doing with the apprentice group, we're making them really, really simple. We're trying very hard to build a buyer's list, and our ads are saying things like desperate must sell 322 Spring, Texas. and then a phone number. That's all that we say. We don't give them enough information to make a decision without calling us. And then what we've asked everybody to do in the apprentice group is keep a log of all those people that call. And you guys need to be doing the same thing. So keep a spiral notebook or a yellow pad or something, and you need to keep that with you all the time. We found out today when our Houston students, we had lunch together today at Whataburger. Yeah, that's a great place. But we had a Whataburger lunch today, and the phone rang twice. We didn't have anything to write on. So you want to keep that spiral or that yellow piece of paper with you all the time. So that's a real easy way to get some buyers calling you is run a Craigslist ad, desperate to sell, owner financing, must sell now, owner financing. You're selling desperation and you're selling owner financing. You're not selling, it's got 3 nice oak trees and a great pool with a nice playpen in the back. You know, we're selling desperation and owner financing. That's what's going to make the phone ring, okay? So try real hard not to make them real flowery prose and all that. Just make them real simple. Make your phone ring. And then the offline marketing, the things that we have the most success with is bandit signs and some ads in the green sheet. Bandit signs work the best for us down here. And basically all we're doing, you know, Tim, we did those 3-bedroom, 2-bath phone number signs a month ago, right? And
Right.
we had 2 calls at lunch today on those 322 signs. You know,
From a
looking,
month ago.
that's a bit, they're a month old, and we're still getting calls on them.
Right.
So that's basically we're handwriting on a sign, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and then a phone number, and that's all. And then you put it in on a vacant house. So you're putting it on private property, so the city doesn't come by and hassle you about it or take it or anything like that. And people will call on that, and they will make up their mind based on what they're looking for. So if they're looking to rent, then that's a rental house. If they're looking to buy, then that's going to be an owner financing house. Okay? And then if this owner comes back and sees the sign in the yard, then that's even better because then you can talk to the owner about selling his house to you. Okay? So those have worked extremely well, and the auction signs have worked real well, and those handwritten must sell now 322 and a phone number signs that we put out have worked extremely well too. So I would really want you to do that during the week, is use some kind of a bandit sign system, and those will work great for you, okay? They'll make your phone ring really, really well. So now we have a seller who's going to let us sell their house. We have some people that are going to come look at the house. Now what do you have next? So once you get to the house, you want to stage the house. And stage the house is not necessarily bringing it.
Hey, Stan.
Yeah.
I think your screen is on pause, so you're not sharing your screen right
Oh,
now.
well, no wonder. Look at all that. Boy, there's all kind of things there.
Okay.
Yeah, now it got bigger, didn't it? Thank you.
Mhm.
So while you're at the house, you want to stage the house, and that's a pretty simple thing with some mats in the kitchen and some napkins and cups and little candles and some mats in the bathroom, kind of some towels on the racks, and just to try to make it look like it's kind of lived in, and you can get an idea of what this is going to look like when people would be living there. Okay, and once you start to stage your house, then people are going to start to come by, so you have to show the house. You guys need to have a sign-in sheet on every house. Let me say that again. You need to have a sign-in sheet on every house, and you need to ask their name and at least their phone number. Email would be good, and address is good too, but at least name, phone number, and email. Okay, so now you're showing the house to people, and you find somebody who likes it and they'd like to buy it. What you need to do then is fill out the buyer application. That's online at Do Deals, and I'll show you one of those in just a few minutes. And once you have the buyer application filled out, then you need to check the people's credit and check their background. At the same time we're doing that, we go ahead and do the sales contract at the same time. And so basically we're cutting off a day or so. So we're working on the sales contract while the guys are working on checking their credit. Our people are. You collect their earnest money, you submit the contract to the seller for their approval, and by that time for us, we've got the credit check back, and we know we know kind of where we stand on everything. After we get finished with that, submitting the contract to the seller, then we submit everything to the title company, and the title company does their magic. They do a title policy here in Texas for us. They make sure all the paperwork's straight, that they've got all the promissory notes done and all the deeds are going to be recorded properly. And then you'll set up a closing date, and be sure to bring all of your required documents to the closing table. And I will show you what those are. I've got a checklist for you. Then you close, then you submit the required documents for the 8K grant, and you submit that to your CPA. And then you wait a little while, and then the check shows up, okay? And then we'll talk about how to get that check cashed in just a little while. So let's go through a couple of little checklist things that you need to have. And let me see here. This is the buyer's application, and it's got my company name on it, but excuse me, it's got our company name on it. But you guys, you can see that you can see this on Due Deals in the bonus section, and it's a Word document, so you can take any of this and just change all of this and make it the way you need it. Okay, so that's what we fill out. We like this one because it's a one-page document. It's real simple. And then this is our 8K checklist. And Tim, can we make this available for them, or how would we do that? So anyhow, this is our 8K checklist. And here's what you need from the buyer. You need a state-issued ID for every person. You need a copy of their 2008 tax return, and they need a cashier's check for their closing costs, okay, or for any kind of down payment they have above the tax credit. Now from you, you're going to bring the sales contract with you. You've already submitted that to the title company, but bring your copy anyway, just in case there are some questions about it. You have the piece of paper in front of you. Now, we in Texas have a sales contract with a seller financing addendum. And then I've got an additional addendum A with the 8K tax credit. I'll show it to you here in just a few minutes. And so you can see that and kind of model one after this. For us, we do all these notices and disclosures, all the property disclosures, lead paint base disclosures. Be sure we have all of that in the contracts. We do a limited power of attorney. And we have the IRS 2848. Now, guys, this is a must-have, and you can get this off of the IRS webpage. It's an IRS 2848, and I'm sure we can send this to you as well. Let me see if I can find one of these. Here we go. This is a 2848 power of attorney. Here it comes. There it is. And basically, all you have to do is get the buyer to fill this out. And then from there, you'll send this off to the CPA, and the CPA will get it processed for you. Okay, so you have the IRS 2848. You need to get the insurance worked out as well. We've got a small CYA letter, cover your tail letter, and then you bring your keys, the garage door opener, and everything else. Now, after the house closes, you need to send all of these docs. For us, we do these long distance, so we send all these to the title company. If you're in the title company already, they'll take care of that for you. Okay. But for us, we do the long distance, so we send the docs to the title company, and then we forward the 2848, the W-2s, a copy of the HUD-1, and an ID with the new address to the CPA. And the CPA and I talked on Friday, and that's a new feature now that the government's now asking that we have an ID with the new address on it before they'll cut a check. Okay, so we'll make sure that you guys can get this checklist. This is everything you need to make the 8K work for you. All right, so there we've seen the 2848. This is my addendum A, and basically it says that they're going to give power of attorney to our little LLC, and that we're going to get the check, and then we're going to get a $8,000, but if it's not received for any reason, it's down here at the bottom, and there's no need for me to read it to you. This basically just make sure that we get our money, and then from there, we're going to get a promissory note at closing, and we're going to put a lien on the property. And then when that check comes in, the buyer and I are going to go down and cash it, and then I'll take that lien off. Okay, so that's what we're doing on this end of it. And we also have just an overview that will let you guys see. Okay, so that's basically, in a nutshell, what the 8K tax credit is. So let's kind of talk about it and do some questions, please, and we'll see if we can help you guys out with any kind of questions you might have. Tim, what do you have that we might be missing?
Hold on, I muted myself out because Tyler's woke up and a little bit cranky here, but no, yeah, I mean it looks good. So yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, what you have on this checklist is fine. You know, the you know, major thing to worry about, I guess, or to be concerned, not right now, but as you move further into this, is, you know, how to explain this to your title company, yeah, so that way, you know, they know how to do the draft of their paperwork accordingly.
And how would you explain that to the title company?
Well, basically, you want to explain to the title company that the way you're doing the transactions, you're going to assign your contract between you and your seller to the buyer, and how you're making your money is through the assignment fee, and that your assignment fee is going to be you know, it's not going to be where you get cash from closing. It's going to be on a second lien that you're going to put against the property, and you're going to get a promissory note from the buyer as well. Okay, and so, you know, so don't go in there and explain to the title company all about this $8,000 tax credit stuff. All of that stuff is irrelevant for them. They don't care about how you're going to get paid outside of closing. The more you talk about the $8,000 tax credit, the more you might even confuse them, and you know, they'll tell you that they don't do those kind of deals, because technically the $8,000 is outside of the closing. It's not part of the closing. Okay, that's just a rebate that the or the grant that the people get from the IRS after they have already shown proof that they bought the property. Okay. However, you know, with the title company, they don't need to know about that. They don't need to worry about that. They just need to know that it's a deal where you're going to be closing, and you know, and what price the buyer is going to pay, and you know what your assignment fee is, and how you're going to get paid from that, which is the second lien you're going to put on the property. And so to the title company, those are just the things that they need. Okay, how you're going about doing the $8,000 tax credit, it's going to happen after the title company, after the closing, so they don't need to worry about that. Okay, and so they just need to draft up their documents for the warranty deed between the seller to the buyer. And depending on your state, you know, a mortgage or a deed of trust from the seller and the buyer, and then a second lien for your part, for your assignment fee, which will balloon in 60 days. That's the time it's going to take for you to get the check back from the IRS. And so once you clear your check, then you're gonna file a release of lien, so that way, you know, you remove that lien against the property. But you know, that's something that you don't need to worry a whole lot right now. When you get closer to that, and with all of these things, actually, you know, I'm sure you're going to have a lot more questions once you're in the middle of the deal. Okay, you know, what Stan's sharing with you today, and what he's teaching you, is just so you know, the overview of what's going to happen, and you don't need to know. You don't need to remember the intricate details of it yet, until you get in the middle of the deal and you get there. That's going to be the best way to learn that. Okay.
And so, Tim, is there a way that they're going to be able to get this, like this checklist? Is there a way I can get that to them?
I guess just give it to Amy, and Amy can email it out to them. Amy or Gershom can email it out to them. This checklist and any mind maps that we have, Amy and Gershom can do that.
Okay. Now, what would be the part where they're going to need to work the most on?
This week? Well,
yeah, at any time.
okay. Well, the most important part now, actually, we should ask them what have they done since what have they done since last week, based on what they learned last Tuesday and last Thursday with the live calls that I did, and getting their feedback to see where people are at, and then that's gonna help us to let them know what they need to do next. Um, so has anybody made some calls to sellers, to landlords, to put out some blank signs? Okay, if you have done so and you want to share that with us, definitely do that. Okay, and let me see here. But yeah, I mean, the next step is stop learning. It's funny I'm saying this, but the next step is you don't need to learn anymore about this strategy. You need to now go and just implement this strategy. Okay, just go out there, put out the blank signs. When I say blank signs, I meant the 3-bedroom, 2-bath with your phone number sign, or the $8,000 grant, tax credit, $8,000 grant owner financing signs on vacant houses. Put those out so that way you can start getting calls from the buyers. That's pretty much it, And until you have some buyers and you have some sellers that you can put together, there's really no more. There's really no more things that you need to learn at this point, because whatever else we're going to teach you at this point, you're probably going to forget it by that time, And so the best thing that we might want to utilize the time from now to the end of this webinar is really just helping you guys, and you guys can ask questions. If you don't want me to mention your name, I won't mention your name or anything. But you want to just stay anonymous. You ask questions about perhaps what's holding you back. What's holding you back from implementing this? What's holding you back from talking to sellers and buyers? If it's some fears or something. Or if it's a time management thing, or if you need some suggestions, do let me know what your challenges are, so that way Stan and I can find a way to help you. Because if we don't know your challenges, I mean, we have really no way to help you, So definitely share with us that. Okay.
So Tim, what comes first? Is it buyers or sellers?
It's a chicken or the egg question.
Absolutely.
It's up to you. Whatever makes you feel more comfortable. It really is. It's really up to you, and it really doesn't matter as much on your first on your first deal, but. You can start marketing for buyers, and when the buyer contacts you, it gives you more confidence to talk to the seller. But if you don't need if you don't need that confidence that you get from knowing that you have some buyers interested, then you can start with sellers first. That's fine. But it really, it really doesn't matter, because either way, once you have the property, finding the buyer it's a lot easier than what you're imagining right now. Okay, there's plenty of these buyers out there that are very excited about these owner financing deals. and and excited to get the $8,000 grant. And so finding the buyer is not the difficult part. The reason why I teach some of you to go ahead and find the buyers first is just really it's just to boost up your confidence, to give you more confidence to talk to sellers. That's all.
Can we give an example of the $8,000 owner financing bandit sign?
It's really simple. It came from, if you have one of Julio's mind map, you can open that, Stan. But really simple. You can do a generic one that all says is $8,000 grants on top, and then says owner financing available, and then your phone number, and that's it. Or 8,000 grant, owner financing, and your phone number. That's all you need to say. You don't even need to say 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom if you don't want to. Okay, that's and then
yeah. I'm trying to find one of these mind maps. Just keep talking. I'm looking.
Okay, yeah, and then from there, you're gonna start getting these buyers to call you. And you can handwrite these signs, so you can buy blank signs from open up the yellow pages, find some local companies that sells Coroplast signs, and buy some blank ones from them. They'll cost you around 80 cents to $1 per sign or so. Buy some blank ones, 18 by 24. You can keep the big size if you want to do that. What Stan does is he buys the smaller size. So basically, it's like the 18 by 24 cut in half. So that'll be 9 by 12. Okay. And so he then puts it out on vacant houses. When you put on vacant houses, you don't need the sign to be very big. Because it's not a high traffic area where people are like driving really fast, and they might not be able to see your sign, and because they're driving in the neighborhood, and so it's no big deal that it's a smaller sign that they're going to stop by and look at that. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, I'm still looking. Keep going.
All right, RC asked, when doing the first deal, is it a must to close the deal with an LLC? Can we close using the investor's name? The answer is it really doesn't matter. You don't have to close under LLC. You don't have to close under any company's name. And yes, you can close under your personal name. Okay. I have students who have been doing this for several years now, and they still closing under their personal name, and and they've done many deals, but they're just more comfortable using it under personal name, so they just do whatever's comfortable, and as long as they're taking action and doing deals, that's really what matters. Is the flex option strategy different from the $8,000 strategy? The answer is no. The flex option is just how you start out to control the deal. Flex option is just the agreement that you're going to control the deal with. And then the $8,000 strategy is how you're going to get paid from it. So it's not different. It's the same, I guess. It's just how we get paid is different. Normally the way we get paid is we get paid from whatever the buyer can put as a down payment. But because now we have the $8,000 grant, we give whatever the buyer can put as a down payment to the seller to keep them happy, and we keep the $8,000 as our fee to keep us happy, to keep Stan happy.
So, Jim, how did we get like I've got on the screen now, option to purchase with wraparound mortgage? How do they make that title different?
You edit it, the flex option is really flexible. You can edit it any way, shape, or form that you need to um, to um, to fit your needs. You don't have to use it exactly like how we have it, but if you want to use it like how we have it, it's fine. Okay, and so the um, uh, for the normal flex options that you guys find is your option to purchase or lease, and so you can just edit that to say option to you can just say option to purchase, because an owner financing or wraparound mortgage is a purchase, and so you can just remove the word lease from the agreement and just keep the word purchase or buy. You'll be fine. You don't even need to say wraparound mortgage or contract for deed. Just option to purchase is good enough.
And this period of time, they can just change this any days they want, right?
Right. So if you have a seller that says, no, I'm not going to give you 45 days. That's too long. Then said, well, then you can negotiate with them for 30 days, for 21 days, 14 days, or even 7 days. Whatever you feel that will be applicable for that seller. It really doesn't matter. If they find a buyer before you do, they're going to be able to terminate their agreement anyways. And so, so it's not a big deal. And once you get started with them, and they see that they see that you're working to try to market the property and try to sell it, the chance of them extending it for you is extremely high. And so it really doesn't matter how many days you put here initially.
And I just need to remind them, there's my little boo-boo there. See where I changed from 45 days but didn't change the bottom. Be sure, guys, when you do that, to go ahead and change this bottom section as well.
Right.
Oops. Okay, thanks.
Okay, Gilda said, looked at 3 ready-to-move-in properties. They are being sold by a real estate agent who is also a contractor who did the work in the homes. He is selling them for $137,500. Would it be feasible to do a flex option? Feasible to do a flex option or a contract on one of these homes, or should I look for other homeowners? You can. I mean, you certainly can do it on this home. As long as they haven't already put a price at too big of a too high of a premium that you can't mark up the price anymore. But yeah, I mean, working with real estate agents on these is just fine. Okay. Do you know if this real estate agent owned this home? And do you know if this real estate agent is willing to do owner financing, Gilda? Mark asked, what do you put on the flex option with the seller who doesn't? Oh, what do you do on a flex option with the seller who doesn't want to sign anything? You move on to the next seller. I mean, if once they've seen the flex option and they feel like they still don't want to sign it, then you just have to move on. Unless you, for some reason, you really, really want to do that deal, you can go and meet up with the seller. A lot of time when you meet up with them, now that they can see you and they can build better rapport with you and feel like they can trust you, then they'll be a lot more willing to sign it. But for me, I mean, if they're not willing to sign the flex option, which is very, very easy to sign, then I feel like that seller is probably not a good seller for me to continue that relationship with, because they might give me difficulties later down the road, and so so I just move on.
So Gilda says the agent does not own the home.
Okay, so then find out who owns it, and if that person is willing to do an owner financing or not. Okay. The seller has to agree to do an owner financing or rent to own in order for us to do it. Okay, a lot of the time you think of rent to own like a lease option type of rent to own. The real terminology of rent to own is more like a lease purchase or a contract for deed. Okay, and you know, and um, so it's okay for you to use the term rent to own, and then as you move on into into further conversation with the seller, you know, then you can switch over to say you know, wraparound mortgage or owner financing, because by then you already got that little yes, you know, because a lot of times when you come out too early talk about owner financing, and if they don't understand how that works, and they think that they have to pay off their mortgage and then, you know, let you borrow the money, then they're gonna say no, and so just, you know, kind of ease them into it.
So Tim, on these houses that are 137.5, do we know what the value is on those?
Well, I wouldn't know.
I know, I'm asking rhetorically. You know that.
Right.
Gilda can type that in as well.
Right. Yeah, I mean, telling me what people are selling their house for really doesn't help me any. You know, doesn't help me much. You know, I need to know what the value is versus what they're asking for it. Okay.
But some of these houses are pretty good, especially if they've had a hard money loan and they're just trying to move them because they haven't borrowed a whole lot of money in that hard money loan, right?
You know, when you being sarcastic like that, you really should laugh at the end so that way people know you're joking. Because otherwise they might not catch that. But yeah, I mean, if somebody has a hard money lender on the property, you know, they've been paying a lot of interest on it, and of course the interest is very high on it, so they are dying. And they do want to get their house sold as soon as possible. You know.
Mark wants to know if a seller wants to get more money down so that the buyer has more skin in the game, how would you respond to that? Like 10% down or something like that?
Well, that's, you know, depending on the deal, Mark. But you know, the way you would normally respond to that is, you know, you tell them, well, I'm going to try my best to find a buyer that can put 10% down. You know, however, if for some reason when we're not able to find a buyer that could put 10% down, what is the absolute minimum that you need to get this house off of your back? So you tell them that you're going to try. But you do want to find out what's the lowest that they have to put down, and if their reason for the 10% is to make sure the buyer has more skin in the game and you know, and not just because they want that amount of money, then you can tell them, well, you know, these buyers, you're going to help them apply for the $8,000 tax credit. And so on top of whatever they have to put down, they also have the $8,000 tax credit. It doesn't go to the seller; it goes to you. However, that is still skin in the game for the buyer, because if the buyer defaults within 3 years and move out, they will be liable for that $8,000 tax credit, and they would owe that money to the IRS. And so, you know, so the buyer does have some skin in the game. It might not be, you know, cash out of his pocket, but it is money that, you know, that is given to him that he has to be responsible to be able to keep that money.
Okay. And Gilda's saying these houses are, the agent's saying they're worth $230. They're selling them for $130.
That doesn't make sense.
My question would be how come they haven't sold yet if that's a $100,000 discount?
Right, and they have already fixed up the property.
Right, it's a brand new fixed up house with a $100,000 discount. I mean, I would just tell you in the Houston market, we could sell those in about 24 hours.
Yeah, so you know, you want to, yeah, I mean, you got to find out more about the property, what's going on. Yeah.
So Tim, as we're doing this, we're finding a lot of sellers who will let us do the owner financing, but they kind of bump their price up just a tad bit. Is that okay?
Say that again.
We're finding sellers that will are okay with doing owner financing, especially the investors. We have quite a
Right.
few of those that are wanting to convert some of their properties over to owner financing properties from rentals into owner financing. But they're wanting to bump the price up just a few $1,000s. Is that an okay thing to do?
Well, yes and no, and you know, whatever you want to do, as long as the price that they are marking it up to plus the price that you marking it up to is not too outrageously above market. Try to keep it at 10% above market or lower. And so I'll give you an example. Let's say if they mark it up 2%, and you mark it up 8%, for a total of 10%, and that's fine. Or if they mark it up 5% and you mark it up 5%, then that's fine too. It really doesn't matter that they're asking a premium for their property. What matters more is that in the end, the total price for the buyer is not too outrageously high, because you want them to be able to refinance this house within 3 years. And if you mark the price up too high, then there won't be enough equity in it for them when it comes to refinancing the property, and they won't be able to refinance to cash the seller out. And if they can't refinance to cash the seller out, then the seller might have to extend the loan longer, or the buyer might lose out on the house, and you don't want that to happen to them. So and it also depends on your market too. If you're in a market where it appreciates a lot faster than than about 5% per year, then yeah, then you might be able to mark it up higher than that. But in most markets, a 5% per year appreciation is pretty common in most markets, and so so it depends. You gotta watch that, and making sure that the buyer will be able to qualify later.
And in the same vein, we had a buyer today that has bought a house, and she came back and said, "Hey, that we're paying 109 for this house, and the house around the corner is only 102." And let's say they're comparable houses. What kind of answer would you have for that?
If the buyer's trying to buy our house for 109, but the other house on the street is 102.
Right, listed with an agent, 102, let's say.
Oh, okay, 102 listed with an agent. Well, you can tell them, well, buyer, because we have to provide owner financing. The only way that it would make sense for us to do that is to sell it for a little bit more, to sell it for a little bit more to make it worth our while. If you are able to qualify for a loan now with a bank, we'll be happy to sell it to you for 102,000, so we don't have to worry about owner financing anymore. Okay, and so so you let them know it's because their credit's messed up and they can't qualify for a loan. That's why they have to be willing to pay a premium for it. If they can get a loan, we'll discount the price for them, and they don't have to pay a premium. You know, but they're not going to be able to find a house on the MLS that offer owner financing. Not normally.
And with the $8,000 tax credit, she's going to be a little under that 102, and especially when she goes to refinance, she'll be fine.
Right, exactly.
Let's see. Do we still look for equity on the $8,000 cash tax credit, or if there's no equity, do we still try to do a owner financing deal?
If the house has equity, well, it depends on how much equity it has, and it depends on the deal. But if the house have decent amount of equity, and I got to be careful with saying this too. Number one, if the house has a lot of equity where you can wholesale the deal to another investor and let them do the stuff, then that's great, okay? Number two, if the house has a lot of equity, but it doesn't have enough equity for you to wholesale it to another investor, where you do have to sell it to a retail owner financing buyer, and you have some experience with this, and you can decide to stay in the game so you can make more money, or you can even do this $8,000 tax credit and just pass that equity on to the buyer, or even give it back to the seller, so they'll be even more happy. And so I mean, I'm assuming you're leading on to us staying in the game, Stan, or am I?
Not really.
Not necessarily.
First, he's asking, if it doesn't have any equity, what do we do?
If it doesn't have any equity, what do we do? Well, I mean, there's two options. If it doesn't have equity and they're behind on their mortgage, then of course the short sale is available for us as an option. If it doesn't have any equity and they're not behind on their mortgage and they are willing to do this owner financing, then we can proceed with doing these owner financing. Okay, and if it does have equity, let's say the house worth $100,000 and the seller is willing to sell it to us on owner financing for $70,000. Okay, so that means there's $30,000 in equity there. So we can choose to stay in the game and buy that property from that seller for $70,000 and turn around and sell it on owner financing to an end buyer for $100,000. Okay, so when there's more equity in the property, it gives us more options, and it gives us the option to stay in the game and make more money on the back end than just the $8,000.
Okay. Gilda's asking again on her house. Should she go do on this house that's that's supposedly worth $230? They're wanting $135 for it. Should she go run comps on it and do some work on it and figure out really what it's worth, or what should she really do?
Yeah, I mean, you should run comps on it and find out, what is the value, and find out from them too. I forgot if you mentioned if the house is listed on the MLS or not.
Yeah, I think she said the realtor builder was. Let me go back and look.
Yeah, I think she said the realtor is selling it, but I don't know if the property is on the MLS. If it's on the MLS, you want to question. And anytime there's a realtor involved, or even a seller who sounds like they're experienced, you want to find out why the house hasn't sold yet. Okay, you want to find out what the problem is, because until you find a problem, you're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to help them as much as you could, and you might be structuring the wrong kind of deals. And so always find out what the problem is, why they haven't been able to sell it yet. Okay.
So Tim, I was just looking at that, and I was thinking, what would I do on that? See, I'm not a big fan of running comps and doing a whole bunch of groundwork when I haven't talked to the realtor yet. And I'd just cut straight to the chase, wouldn't you?
Well, it sounds like she has talked to them, right? I assume.
I would just ask that magic question: why do you think it hadn't sold yet?
Right.
And then try to figure out what marketing they're doing. What would I do different that would sell it than what they're doing now?
Right.
So why is it just sitting there? That just raises a lot of flags for me. But
right. Yeah. You want to question these things, and so do find out what the real value is. Okay. Then Mark asked, how do we do good comps without being a realtor? You can use the free comps to give you some ideas, but the really good comps will have to come from a realtor, and so you're just gonna have to contact the realtor to get you the comps. I mean, there's really no other way around the MLS, and the MLS is what realtors use, what appraisers use, what banks use to find out what the value of a property is.
So if he was just getting started, where would he go? If I was just starting on a project and talking to somebody on the phone and they were saying it's worth whatever, then where would I go first?
Well, in Gilda's case where it's a realtor themselves, then you can ask the realtor, well, what is the value of this home, and you can even ask the realtor for the comps to support what they're talking about as the value. Okay, and then you can contact any other realtors and say, hey, I'm a real estate investor and I'm looking to buy and sell houses here, in your area, and if you can help me run comps on this property, I'll if the deal work out, I'll pay you a fee to compensate you for your time, and if you find any property on the MLS that might fit, or find a property anywhere that might fit my criteria, you definitely can represent me on those properties. And so, just build relationship with a realtor, any realtor. And if you run across a realtor that says no, well, what do you think you should do? I mean, I know the answer, but I'm asking, you guys. What would you do if you talk to a realtor, ask them to run comps for you, and they won't do it? What would you do? Yeah, you find another one, exactly. That's kind of the trick question, but that's how it works in any type of business. When you talk to a seller and the seller's not willing to cooperate with you, what do? You move on to another seller. When you talk to a buyer and the buyer's not willing to cooperate with you, what do? You move on to another buyer. So same thing for real estate agents, If they don't want to do business with you, then fine, take your business elsewhere. Another agent will be willing to do business with you. And if you want, you can also run an ad on Craigslist to look for real estate agents to work with. And you get them responding to you, say, real estate agent wanted, investment company looking for a buyer's agent to help us on our properties, and have them call you. So if a real estate agent is contacting you, then their willingness to work with you will be much, much greater than when you are out there contacting them. And so you certainly can do that too, okay? And it doesn't cost you anything to run an ad on Craigslist in the real estate section.
Hey, Tim, as I was calling a guy today, I was talking to a probate lead today, and I pulled up Due Deals values. I always do that when I'm talking to anybody on short sales or any kind of deals. And so he's telling me it's worth 82,000 or so. And as I'm talking to him, and I'm hoping they all know what Due Deals values is, I type in that address, and it gives me a nice average. I've got a picture of the place and what's for sale around it. And that $80,000 house, the value was really in the mid-30s. And so I knew just as we were talking on the phone, what kind of a deal that was going to be and how we could kind of structure that. And then I could go get the agents to help us. But anyhow, that's what I did today.
Okay. Yeah. So, that sounds good. You certainly can do that. Okay. Well, all right. It looks like I think we got all of the questions for tonight, Stan. You did an awesome job, buddy. Let me see here.
It's always a good time, isn't it?
Yep.
Just for me.
Gilda said the agent said one of the property has been on the market for 14 days. The other two, I don't know how long they've been on the market. We'll ask for comps. Yeah, definitely. We'll ask them for comps, and get a second opinion from another real estate agent too, and find out what's going on. But Mark, to run an ad for the agent, I'll repeat that to you. To run an ad, just run an ad that says buyer's agent wanted. Okay, buyer's agent wanted. A buyer's agent is a real estate agent who represents buyers. Okay, and a buyer's agent are typically a lot more friendly than listing agents or seller's agents. What happens is that almost all agents, when they first started out, they started out as a buyer's agent, working with buyers, driving them around town, showing them houses. Once they become more experienced, they start to know that working with buyers takes up a lot of time, so they graduate and start working with sellers only and become a listing agent. And so all they do is put houses on the MLS and let the buyer's agent, do the grunt work of getting those houses sold. And so buyer's agents are a lot more friendly, a lot easier to deal with. And so you want to run an ad that says buyer's agent wanted. Hi, my name is blah blah blah. I'm a real estate investor here in town, and I'm looking for a buyer's agent to help me, to help me buy some houses as well as help me sell some houses. And so get them to contact you, and then you can start the conversation from there. Okay. All right. Let me see here. All right. Yeah, good hearing you. Good hearing from you too, Casey. And all right. Let me see. I think that's pretty much it. Okay.
How did they get that replay of you doing that call Thursday?
Joshim's sending it to them. So I think all of the replays are in the Judeos University area, so you guys can all log in there and get that. But make sure you listen to that. That was a really good call that I did. I called 10 sellers, and I talked to 4 people, 3 or 4 people. I don't even remember anymore. But one of those deals looks like a very good deal. And another one has potential, and so I don't know. I think the total time that I spent on calling was probably like 30 minutes or so, and so so definitely do listen in on that call, and make some of your calls too. Just go out and practice, give it a try. It doesn't hurt. Okay.
And what happens after you get a flex option done? What's next?
After you get a flex option signed, the next step is to then market that property for sale. Okay, and also analyzing the property to find out, okay, what is the real value? How much can I sell this house for? What are the rent in the market, so you can have an idea of how much tenants are paying for in that neighborhood, and then really just market the property for sale and to find a buyer. That's pretty much it. So for this week, your homework this week, please do call sellers up, call landlords. Watch my videos and replay on calling sellers and landlords if you need to, and then go ahead if you need to gain more confidence in talking with buyers. Go ahead and put out some signs. Go ahead and put out some signs on vacant houses to start looking for buyers. Go ahead and create some ads on Craigslist to look for buyers, very similar to do the signs, except for it's an ad to look for buyers. And you're going to start getting emails and calls if you give them your phone number. And so go ahead and do that this week. And if you have questions, if you have things that for whatever reason is holding you back, and you can't seem to be able to take action, submit it to the hotline. Or actually, what's better is make sure you get on the Happy Hour TV show that I started today. Just go to blog.judeos.com and click on the Happy Hour TV. Make sure you attend that daily, because every day for the next 30 days that I'm trying this out for. Every day I'm going to be sharing with you, different motivational and inspirational stories and strategies of how to get off your butt and make it happen. So make sure you get on those on those. Those are so important that I even make my staff to get on the show. And so it's I even make my wife get on the show too, actually. So so if it's good enough for if it's good enough for my wife, and she'll be able to benefit from it, it'll be good enough for you, and you'll be able to benefit from it greatly too. So, make sure you get on and let your friends and family, get everybody on there. It's good for them. Okay. All righty then. Great. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for being on this webinar, and thank you so much, Stan, for for getting on and teaching all of us as well. So
I have a great time. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you for that. Awesome. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you on the Happy Hour TV, and on Thursday. I'm not going to be the one that's going to make calls to the sellers this Thursday because we have the deal making weekend that Stan and I are doing on Thursday, and so my assistant Joan is going to make the call. Okay, my assistant Joan is going to make the call, and so you should get on anyways and listen to her as well, and kind of hear it from her perspective. And then next week when we get back, we'll give you guys updates on how we did for the deal making weekend and what we did and all of that other good stuff. And so we're looking forward to talking to you more on the next webinar. All right. Okay, everybody. Have an awesome one.
See ya.
All right. See ya. Bye-bye.